after the court experience where my parental rights were terminated, I couldn't wait to get out of that building. From the moment I walked out of the courthouse through the parking lot to get to my car, I had many, like 3 moments of such clarity. And I know that was God. For me, that was God, because in the moment after a judge says, "You're not your kid's mom anymore," you're instantly filled with a lot of things. And then as a mother, your mind instantly shifts to your children, and you begin worrying about them and them receiving the news and what that's like for them. I have 5 children, and so in that moment, in that courtroom, my world was spinning and falling apart, not only because of my pain, but thinking of each child and what this means for them. So, from the court building to my car, I was in a irrational, upset, confused state of mind. So, for me to be able to share that I had 3 moments of clarity in the short walk to my car and the parking lot right after that court experience is very profound to me. Very profound. I mean, the 3 thoughts that I had, they didn't come from inside my body. You know, I can testify to that. Every core of my fiber was not okay. So these 3 moments of clarity didn't come from my body or mind. They came from God. And so I've shared the first 2 moments of clarity, realizations that I've had. Well, the third was a whisper. Be still and know that I am God. And that stuck with me for 6 months to almost a year. The sound, the whimsical feeling I get when God says certain things to me. So be still and know that I am God showed up many times that first 6 months to a year. And it had several different meanings along my journey. In the Bible, the meaning is God in times of chaos and war and destruction and panic. In the Bible, that phrase is God saying to the people, stop trying to control everything and be still and let me be God. I'm very into understanding Hebrew in the context of the Bible and what words and things actually mean, not what the church tells us. And so be still, let me read this to you, in Hebrew is rahafan. And it means, it doesn't mean sit quietly. It means, in Hebrew, drop your hands, loosen your grip, let go of the fight, stop trying to fix everything yourself, release the battle to me. That's what be still means in Hebrew. And then know that I am God means remember who I am, trust my character, trust my timing, trust my power, trust that I am doing things you cannot see yet. My whole life I have felt a connection to God. I've had a yearning for the Bible, sort of. more so a yearning for truth. Definitely a connection with God, something above and bigger than me. So I'm not one of those people that knows the Bible and its chapters and things like that. I love the Bible. I think it's a beautiful book with wonderful lessons, but it's not something that I spend studying. And so for the words to be whispered to me, to be still and know that I am God, like, I had to go look what that exactly means. You know, in the moment in the parking lot, I took it for a literal standpoint, you know, because I wanted to shout and scream and find a news person or just find somebody that cared and just scream and shout and throw a tantrum. That's what I wanted to do. So I took the words for their little literal meaning in the moment. In later study about that verse, it's spiritually, it's God giving a person an invitation for when they're overwhelmed, when they're breaking, when they're anxious and confused, when they're trying to hold everything together, when they're afraid of what comes next, and when carrying the burden is not only too heavy, but is a burden that wasn't meant for you to carry. And so as parents who've dealt with CPS, especially those of us with termination of parental rights, it makes a lot of sense. It's a verse that speaks to you when you have no clarity. And that's one of the main outcomes, side effects of not having your children in your life. You are a mother. When you don't have your children in your life, you don't know who you are. I remember I didn't even know how to plan my day. I didn't know how to eat. I didn't know how to sleep. I didn't know how to function without my kids. The verse also means stop trying to find the answers and the whys. That keeps coming up a lot in my videos lately about asking why, and I talk about radical acceptance and accepting things for what they are. I share that I don't use the word why. So that came to me at a beneficial time during the termination of my parental rights. As parents involved in CPS, we quickly learn that we're up against a system that is referred to as a beast. Very accurately, we're up against a system that is set up for us to fail. We're up against a system where we experience victimization and injustice and attacks and belittlement over and over again. And so this verse is comforting in regards to that, because we have no power in regards to CPS because they violate us. But we can surrender and have a relationship with God where we can take comfort in the fact that, yeah, we don't have control over anything, but God does. And I believe that if you're a good person and you're nice and kind to others during a time of turmoil and havoc for you personally, but if you still go out and are kind to the world, I believe that's when God shows up and shows out for you in your life because of your faith and commitment to Him. When God says, be still and know that I am God, it doesn't mean to stop advocating or to stop fighting for your children. I think it means to be still, meditate, focus on Him, quiet your mind, and see what enters. I think it's about being strategic and not reactive. When God says your emotions and your pain are not for you to carry, it doesn't mean that your heart stops breaking. It does. I mean, you still have to feel your emotions. You're still going to cry and you're still going to break down at times, but it's gives you a level of peace to know that God has a plan, and to have faith in the outcome making sense one day. I know that helps me a lot, and is something that helps me get through. I believe through my faith that this is all going to make sense one day. I believe in a day where my children and I are in reunion, and we're helping other families, parents, my kids helping the kids, and God providing in abundance. And I can just envision a day where I'm standing there and every need is met, and I'm in close relationship connection to my children and grandchildren running around. And in that moment, feeling so much purpose and joy and peace that I whisper to God, oh, it all makes sense now. Be still and know that I am God, I think, does require a person to sit with their feelings. You can't heal what you don't feel. I think it does require a person to meditate. Meditation is a journey I've been on for years. And there is a state of being that you can reach and achieve where there is stillness and quiet, and where things are revealed to you and answers are given. When CPS takes your children, a mother doesn't know who she is anymore. Her identity, her purpose, her things in her children that made her life fulfilling, the journey of motherhood has been instantly, tragically ripped and taken for some of us forever. And we have a crisis identity. And there are ways to find our new self through journaling and self-care, but a very powerful spiritual way is to sit and meditate in the stillness. And that is where we can find our soul, our higher selves, and our true soul purpose. I wrote this journaling not too long ago. When you become still, you can hear God again. And when you can hear God again, you can remember who you are. And the biggest overarching meaning of be still and know that I am God is surrender. Surrender has showed up several times on my spiritual journey, which began in 2015. My healing journey began in 2022. There's actually a difference. But in the decade now that I've been on a spiritual journey, surrender has showed up many times. When it showed up in that parking lot and stayed with me for months, I did surrender to God. I surrendered all of my irrational emotions. I surrendered my guilt, blame, and shame. I surrendered the path I thought my life was on. I surrendered all the hopes and dreams that I had for my family and for my children. I surrendered the honor of motherhood. And in that surrender, you let go of expectations. You let go of attachments. And through that process, it doesn't happen in one day, but through that process, you truly gain peace. And for me anyway, I found that the peace I had been desperately searching for years was inside me. The peace I had been searching for was within me the whole time. I knew to document my healing journey in 2022. after my termination of parental rights, when God immediately spoke to me, I knew I had a knowing to document my healing journey, and so I did. And in doing so, I have come up with my 10 most effective healing strategies. I'm working on a book that talks about all 10 strategies. And one of those chapters, one of those strategies is align with the divine. And it's about stillness, clarity, peace. Stillness is surrender. And so in the book, which will be available to purchase soon, in that chapter, you can find practical guides and practices on achieving stillness, peace, and clarity. And I will make videos on those topics, but this was a more just spiritual video and a little introduction to my healing strategy of aligning with the divine. And this was something personal I wanted to share with my new YouTube audience. Transparency, honesty, vulnerability, they're all morals and that I have, and purpose and structure that I have for this community. And so those things are really important to me. So in the name of honesty, sharing, vulnerability, and transparency, I wanted to make this video and share it with you today. Go to the comments. I'll have a pinned question you can answer. It helps build engagement, which we have to have engagement to build a community. Please subscribe and be a part of the community. And please press like to get this video out to more people so they have the opportunity to join this community if any of my videos resonates with them. So thank you for being here. I'll see you next time. Until then, I hope your days are filled with all your favorite things. Bye.